and welcome to my channel, or welcome back if you're already part of the Sprinkle Squad. I'm so happy to see you again, and today I must admit, I guess I cheated a little bit. So I know I've been trying to finish all of my builds that are like in the works that I've had for a long time, but I just kind of decided I wanted to build a tiny cabin in the woods, not like the creepy kind, but the cute cozy kind, and that's just what I felt like doing. So we're taking a little break from catching up on old builds just for a cute little new build. And fun fact, I also was on Discord building this with my mom. So she actually helped me do, well, the building, like in the interior, and then I finished the exterior on my own. But also, her name is Mama Spicy, so if you see her down in the comments, be nice to her. That is my mom, and she is the reason we have to make sure there's a fruit bowl in every single build we do. So I guess I also technically cheated a little bit on my last house as well. That one was also a new build, but I thought I would do something a little weird, a little quirky. You know, she's not like the other houses kind of build for April Fool's Day. I just felt like that's something I needed to do. So if you haven't seen that, be sure to go check that out. It is definitely, I feel like, it's a very interesting build. So be sure to let me know what you think. And yeah, so for this build, I really just wanted it to be cozy. I thought about doing it like really tiny so that it's almost like a studio, but I wanted it to be more like a house. And I will say, so we are building in Granite Falls, which I think might actually be the first pack, if I'm not mistaken, that the Sims 4 came out with. And at the time, rental lots were like, this is a vacation lot, but it like Vacation World, but it wasn't one of those like the newer ones we have, like Mount Komorebi, that like you can have vacation homes mixed in with residential homes, so you can build either. So in this world, you can only build a vacation lot. Like I could not do a regular residential. So this is already up on the Sims 4 gallery if you want to download it under my ID Spice and Sprinkles, all one word, all lowercase, and down in the description if you want to see it written out. And it is uploaded as a vacation rental, but of course when you place it, you can place it anywhere you want to, and you can just change the lot type. So if you want to actually use this as your home, you can do that. Or if you want to leave it as a rental and place it in one of the worlds and use it as a little cute getaway for your Sims, then feel free to do so. But I did actually put a full bathroom in here and a full bedroom, which I thought was super cute. And this has been play tested, so your Sim shouldn't have, you know, any issues doing anything on the lot. I really did. I feel like I packed a lot of stuff in here. And of course, there's a bunch of landscaping and everything that goes with it. And you could see there I was actually adding in like a flat piece around the actual like porch area. And the reason I did that was, while there is a roof there, if I wanted to actually have like roof paint so it makes it look like wooden, then you have to put something like that there so you can actually paint it. Otherwise you can't really paint the bottom of just like a roof piece. It needs to think it's kind of like a room, if that makes sense. So anyways, that's kind of why I went back and added that. So I think technically this probably won't count as a tiny home if you were to have it in the game, especially because of that and because of the wraparound porch I have there. But in terms of like the actual space your Sim is living in, it is nice, tiny, and cozy. Although I will say all the spaces are still fairly large feeling. Like the kitchen ends up being actually really cute. I'm actually really excited about it. I use this flooring that I've really never used before, but I thought, you know what, we should use it. And I will say we do end up swapping out those flower boxes. At first, like I like the orange that it added, but it became a little too much. It didn't feel like it really fit the rest of the home once it was done, if that makes sense. So we're kind of just using things that I don't typically use, but I didn't use a lot of the actual outdoor retreat items. So the items aren't really like wooden and really rustic, if that makes sense. It's more just kind of quaint and cozy. So I don't even know if I've really done something that's like really just really rustic. Maybe I need to do like a fishing cabin. Why do I feel like I've done that? Or was that just something I decided to do? I feel like at this point I've built so many things, I don't remember what I've done anymore. Like I feel like it's just been so many builds, I just don't even know anymore. But we do actually end up having room for a cute little dining table here as well. And of course I ended up using a lot of cottage living as well, since that goes hand in hand, I feel like, with a cabin and gives us a little bit of that rustic feel without it being just straight up everything's wooden, if that makes sense. Like we didn't use a wooden bathtub. That is something that's in the game, but we didn't use it. We did use a regular bathtub in here, and I think it ended up being really cute. We don't include a shower here, but you can of course add that if you would like to. It just felt like a bathtub was really cute, and that's what I wanted to use. And of course we have the fruit bowl, and I left this little, like, it basically looks like a cabin picture. Is kind of what it looks like from Cottage Living over the dining table, because I just thought that was adorable. And I was a little back and forth about what to put on the walls of the kitchen, because I wanted it to feel not like cluttered, but really like there was nice usable space in there, but actual top cabinets that match the bottom cabinets really were just, they felt too big in this space. So instead I used this like Cottage Living shelf, and then I tried to put that, was it maybe Island Living? Is that what I was trying to use? Over the fridge, but it ended up being a little bit too big. I think we do end up putting a few things on the wall over there, and that little space, I wanted it to be like a cute little coffee tea nook. Like it was just so adorable. Of course, if you want to swap out that for a tea maker or also add a tea maker, you are of course welcome to do so, but I just really wanted to put a bunch of clutter over in the corner. And as a reminder, your sim can cook on corner counters. So I know this looks like really small, but the top left counter, your sim can cook on that. And I feel like if you've not actually done that before, it doesn't feel like they would necessarily do that, because I feel like sims can be a little picky when it comes to cooking areas. So over there, I only put stuff up on the wall so that your sim doesn't freak out and not want to use the counter. And I was able to fit like one plant on that little bay window area. Things don't necessarily really clip to it, and if they try to, a lot of times they have really weird shadowing, that kind of thing. It thinks it's like outside. Luckily that plant fit really well. And then for the bedroom here, I tried a bunch of different beds. Like we went through a bunch of different options, a bunch of different swatches, but we ended up just using this really cute, more simple one. So one that didn't have like a huge bed frame on it, and just going with the brown comforter. I feel like it kind of fit everything. We went through several of the Cottage Living wallpapers as well, but we did settle on this one, and I thought it just added that little bit of color that was needed for this room. And I felt like the rug also pulled in like the color from the tile. So it really does look a little more cohesive here, even though the bed is a bit dark. But we do also fit in a wardrobe, actually the one from Horse Ranch over in the corner. And we do have a little mirror on the wall, which I think was really cute. And we end up using that really big Seasons picture. It's the one that's like a bunch of different panels. I did size it down because it's huge, if you know what I'm talking about, which you'll see it here in a second. But I thought it would be really cute because I remember there was a swatch that had these really pretty orangey colors in it. So I thought that would work really well in here. And of course, adding a little bit of clutter on top of the wardrobe because I just couldn't help it. And I really liked that the wardrobe had a little mirror on it. It felt like a really functional piece for a small area. And you can see that's where I ended up swapping to that photo, and I think it ended up looking really cute. And we do end up having that slightly kind of bay window thing in the bathroom as well. I also feel like I might sound a little funny. Again, I am struggling with my allergies right now, so if I do sound a little funny, that's kind of what's going on with me at the moment. So apologies. Hopefully it's not hopefully you don't really hear it, I guess, and maybe I can hear it since obviously it's my voice. But anyways, just adding in here this cute sink, which honestly, I don't know if I've really ever used that before. I mean, maybe once or twice. Obviously, I don't really have any memory of it. So I got to use it, and then adding just a little bit of clutter in here. We do end up putting a shelf over the bathtub with just more things, just all of the things, because I just couldn't help it. I just love putting things in here, trying to make it a little more realistic or functional, although maybe realistic, you'd have a shower in here as well, like a shower tub combo. But we did test that out. It just didn't feel quite right. Like we have the one that I think it might be like off the grid or something, and it felt too rustic for this space, if that makes sense. So we just kind of didn't use that and just went with the bathtub instead. And we end up using the Riviera Retreat. I don't know, they look like curtains to me, but they're not in the curtain category. But we use those because I really love the tie back on it. That little bit of detail just looked really cute, and I felt it kind of matched. And of course, when we got to the living room, we had to have a fireplace. Like, that was necessary, I feel like, for a cabin. So we ended up having to take out that window in the back, and so we can actually put that over there. And we do also include a little desk area as well, so your sim can work on stuff if they need to. And this is not intended to be off the grid, although you can of course do that if you'd like to. I know if you swap out some of the lighting, things like that, for, I think a lot of times they're like candle versions of lights, you can use those, swap things out, get some solar panels, water collection, that kind of thing, if you'd want to be off the grid, which I think honestly would be kind of cute as well if you wanted to use this as your actual home. And I thought it'd be really cute to have some sconces like by the TV, and you can see I kind of deleted the walls in order to do that because lights want to clip to the wall, and obviously that would be not on the fireplace, like that would be farther back. So if you delete the walls around the item, you can then raise up the lights manually and place them where you want, and then you can put the walls back so that it kind of looks like they're attached to the fireplace, which I think ended up being super adorable. And then actually ended up using that really cute rocking chair that we got with, I believe that was Life and Death, if I'm not mistaken. And I thought it looked really nice in here and just added that little bit of rustic feel without it being too rustic, if that makes sense. And so adding a few plants and books around the place, just making it feel a little more cozy. I thought about putting the phone there on the mantle, but opted not to do so. I just added some photos instead. Those are the photos from the Casanova kit, and I think they're really cute actually, although I wish they actually clipped to the mantle. I had to raise them up manually, but that's not too big of a deal. And I did add a bookcase over in the corner, again, just something for your sim to do while they're here. I did include an alarm and a thermostat in here as well. And oh, I'm trying to remember, did I put an alarm next to the other door? Because I think, if I'm not mistaken, you need an alarm per door. It could be maybe per room or something like that that has a door. I'm not sure, but I think I put one for both just to, be on the safe side. So hopefully you don't have any issues with burglars. And can you turn them off? I'm not sure. I haven't really played a lot, and I feel like when I have played since we've gotten that update, I haven't encountered a bunch of instances of that. I think there's a lot trait you can put on to where your house gets a burglar a lot more often, but just adding in, I think it's really funny. It looks like a typewriter, but it's a computer, but it literally has a mouse and everything, which is kind of funny to me, but it just kind of felt like it went with the aesthetic. And I added in those pictures there on the wall, and I guess they're canvases, kind of is what I'm thinking of them as. So I figured your sim might want to paint while they're here. It is so scenic out here that maybe your sim does enjoy painting while they're here. I also put a chess table. I include a flower arranging table. We have gardening boxes. We have the horseshoe thing we got with Outdoor Retreat, which is also an item I've maybe only used once or twice in all of my time building in The Sims 4. And I do include a mailbox, which I don't think is useful with a rental, or I say a vacation rental to be specific, but if you place this as a residential lot, you'll need one. So I kind of placed it there. I'm assuming it just doesn't really serve a purpose. If it's a vacation rental, it just kind of looks cute there. And then including this table here that we got with cottage living, because it just felt like maybe the sim did gardening and brought it up here, maybe did some canning, that kind of thing, which I don't think I've actually done in the game. I'm pretty sure we got that with cottage living, but I haven't even tried it. I feel like I need to do one of those Let's Plays that goes through every single pack, and the whole goal is to experience the whole pack. Just because I feel like the first thing I do when we get a new pack is build with it, and that's basically mostly what I do with it. And I didn't start playing The Sims 4 until years into its life, so I also was not playing the game when some of the packs came out, so I definitely didn't necessarily experience all of them as they came out. I feel like I was just a little bit late to the game. I was playing The Sims 3, I think. I think I got The Sims 3 when The Sims 4 was still when Sims 4 was already out, and I played The Sims 1. I never played The Sims 2 up until the recent re-release, which I actually started playing that again. I was actually playing that on Discord with my mom. Sometimes we hang out like at night, and I've been introducing her to Sims 1 and Sims 2, which has been definitely interesting since her experience with The Sims really is Sims 4 for the most part. Like, this isn't something she's played, but has seen me play. And so it's mostly been The Sims 4. So that's kind of fun, being able to introduce her to, honestly, something I spent a whole lot of time doing as a kid. But, I ended up staying up late. I feel like the classic Sims thing of, all of a sudden it's like 4 hours later and it's like 2 a.m. and you're still playing The Sims. So, and of course I did the thing too where you put it down for a while and then you come back and then you play it constantly for like a while, and then again, you don't play it for a long time. But I feel like Sims 4 I'm consistently playing, obviously, since I'm uploading. But I don't know. I really like the art style of Sims 4 a lot, and it really is fun to kind of see how the game has progressed. And I feel like I'm totally not even talking about the build here, but I guess I'm talking about something adjacent. I'm talking about The Sims. And I ended up adding a lot of this like overgrowth, which a lot of them come from Cottage Living, but I think there's some in some of the other packs as well, again, out of Debug. And it just felt a little more like you really are in the woods, like in a cabin, if that makes sense, to have some of that overgrowth. And I really do enjoy landscaping. I just kind of pick out pieces that I like and kind of sporadically put them everywhere. And there's just a lot of layering that goes into my landscaping if you're ever trying to do the landscaping like I do. Like, I feel like everybody has a different style. Like, I do the very lush, a lot of times lots of different plants layered together kind of look. Like, the minimal kind of landscaping is difficult for me. Like, not because I can't, but just because I always feel like something's missing. I feel like my husband always pokes fun at me when it comes to, like, I do cake decorating as well, which that's all on my Instagram. So if you want to see what cakes I've made, that's over there. But I'm always like, do I need to add like some extra, like a frosting border? Do I need to add some more sprinkles? Do I need to add XYZ to the cake? And he's always like, does it need a border? Like, every time I'm like talking about if something needs something else, he's like, does it need a border? Because I always felt like I needed to add a little something extra, which I feel like is what happens with my Sims landscaping too, which I think is kind of funny. But I did add in some of those fish, fireflies, and dragonflies just kind of around everywhere because I figured it would add a nice ambiance to being out in the woods. I also put the fishing sign out here, and I put the tree stump for the bunnies and the tree for the birds, so you would get those as well around the place. I can't remember if I got any bunnies in the screenshots actually, because sometimes I do. Whenever I put that on a lot or I'm actually building in the cottage living world, I tend to have them in my screenshots because they just show up. They're just always there. But of course, adding in a little extra terrain paint, some extra lighting so you can actually see what you're doing. I had thought about putting a car, like a truck or something, in front of the cabin, like you just kind of pulled up, coming to vacation or something, but it just felt really big and overpowering for the space, so I end up just not doing that. But I do end up adding some debug fencing just for a little extra something here in the yard, and we do add a little bit of flowers there under that bay window too. I think that added something special. But if you enjoyed this video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe. I would really appreciate it, and I hope you have a really sweet day. Bye everybody.